To inform manual, project 4, fact finding report. After the speech, there will be a 2 to 3 minute question and answer period. With her speech titled 2016 Taxes and Beyond, please welcome Vicki Cheddar.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, you're probably thinking, why is she talking about taxes? It is a wonderful time this season. We've just spent time with our family. We want to revel in the holidays. Why do we have to start thinking about taxes? Well, for me, this is the exciting time of the year. This is when I start thinking about taxes. It's the end of the year, and we're going to find out by the end of December if all of the tax laws that have been previously enforced are going to roll over. Sometimes it has to do with standard deduction and exemptions. Sometimes it has to do with certain credits. One time it was about mortgage insurance premiums. Every year it's something new, and that's what I like about taxes, is because it's a puzzle and we have to put the pieces together, and we don't find out the rules for the puzzle until right at the end of the year. And I'm thinking this year, 2016, we're not going to see very many changes. I think it's going to be status quo, because in 2017, we have a new administration coming in, and they want to change taxes laws, as with any administration. It doesn't matter which side of the political fence you're on, they want to do something about taxes. Now, in 1913, there was the tax code that was invented, and it was 400 pages. And that's a pretty good sized book. In 1939, it went up to 504 pages of this tax code. In 1969, 16,500. In 1984, that was the Reagan administration type. It was 26,300. In 2004, it was 60,044. In 2014, it has reached 74,608. Now, some people say, no, the tax code is not that many pages. They say that they have a book. It's a pretty sizable book, and granted, it's one of those with small type and both sides of the pages, one of those law books that they cram a lot of information. They say it's not that many pages. I went on the IRS website because that's where we get our information electronically, because if you try and call them, they don't like to speak to you very much. And if you try and get a printed publication, they direct you to their website now. They don't like to print material anymore. It costs money. As you know, they don't send you those pamphlets anymore in the mail. You have to request them. And nowadays, even if you request them, they say, go online and download it. So I thought, okay, let me see if I can download the tax code. Because if it's not supposed to be 74,608 pages, I should be able to download in a PDF, correct? We can all get PDFs. No. They have it outlined where you can click a specific section of the code, which is nice if you know which part of the code you want to get. However, most people fact-finding, it's very difficult to figure out which code. So you click on different links and hopefully you'll get it. Now, another way that you can do it is kind of go back and Google or archives and see if there's something that has been in court and they ruled on. Because then you find out what the ruling is, and then you can go back to that code and see if it fits your situation. But enough about the tax code, because who wants to read that? I realize that we don't. My real mission on my fact-finding quest is, what is the new administrating wanting to do for this upcoming season? Now, as I said, 2016 probably won't be affected unless they take control and say, we want these all to go into effect in Congress, because Congress has to vote in whether or not these tax rules will be in effect and how quickly they move. And you know, sometimes Congress doesn't move very fast. So I don't think we'll see any changes in 2016, but in 2017, we probably will. Now, I wish I could tell you all of the changes that want to be made, but I'm only going to focus on a couple. One is right now, we have 7 different tax brackets, which meaning your taxable income after you take all of your deductions and everything, that number is taxed by a certain percent. If you make, $10,000, perhaps it's 10%. But if you make $10 million, it's 39.6%. That's a great difference. They want to take it from 7 to 3, which will be nice. There's a 12%, a 25%, and a 33%. That should make it easier on taxpayers. I'm sure that they will be able to figure that out. The next big one that will affect all taxpayers is the standard deduction. Right now, when we do your taxes, you can take your standard deduction or your itemized deduction. And when you take an itemized deduction, you have to go through all of your paperwork and you have to find and prove all of these deductions. And so therefore, they want to raise the standard deduction so that it's not so difficult. And that's probably a good idea for the majority of taxpayers in certain tax brackets. Right now, there's 4 types of households. There's a single household, which there's one taxpayer head of household where there's a single parent raising children. Married, which there's the 2 individuals, and the married filing separate. And each of those have their own standard deduction. Under the new administration, it would be just single or married. And there would be no head of household. Now, I think that this would affect a huge amount of our population because there are a lot of single parent households that are raising their children. Because in the bumping up of the standard deduction, which would be $15,000 for single, and married would be $30,000. That's a big, huge jump. That would be great. However, for the single parent who has 3 children, there is no personal exemptions anymore. Personal exemptions this year were $4,000 per person. So a single parent would have a deduction of $21,250. Under the new administration, they would get the standard deduction of $15,000. That's a lot of money. They're saying, but wait, there will be child care incentives to go along with this, and you can deduct your child care. And there's some talk about that. There is going to be a huge impact, though, on whatever happens with the tax code, and it's going to be fun to see, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out and how it's going to affect everybody. When I get more information, I will be sure and let you know what's going to be happening. Thank you very much.